Minister.
Thank you, Chair.
We will allow you and the SC to conclude your evidence. Over to you, SC. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Members, Honourable Deputy Minister.
Hello, afternoon.
Maybe it's easier to answer the questions on a full stomach.
If it was my wish, I would have requested that us to conclude then, because I thought you intended to conclude at that moment. But with the wisdom of the chair said I must go and eat something so that I can concentrate proper. Probably I'll be better off now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Minister, Deputy Minister, I just want to test your... well, I labelled it as such, but it seems to me you say that there isn't much, or if anything, wrong with the South African police services because there's a few bad people. And does that mean that if and when these bad people, so-called, are identified and we get rid of them, as it were, by following whatever procedures have to be followed, then everything will be hunky-dory and the police service will operate as it should?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I will be incorrect to say that if you remove 2 or 3 people that are problematic, you will then have a perfect system. Why I'm saying that the subs broadly, it's okay, is because you are talking of over 100,000 men and women who are in uniform. And those that are rogue or work with criminal elements do not represent a greater proportion of the police. You remove these rogue elements, you will have a police service that will be able to operate without people who are managed somewhere. But that does not suggest that the environment in which we work, you will not have people who get captured or who get influenced to work with criminal cartels. Criminals themselves, by nature of how they work, they will always want to tap into an institution that is meant to deal with them. They will want to outsmart the system. They will want to make sure that police don't get them. And the only way to do so is to also devise strategies or tactics to get to understand what is happening within policing. So the context within which we are fighting crime makes it impossible to have a 100% insulated institution. We will have elements from time to time in it. So if this process assists us to clean the wrong elements, it doesn't necessarily mean 20 years, 30 years down the line, you will not find ourselves seated in a situation where we are confronted with elements who are working with criminals to undermine the institution. They will be there, but I believe if we deal with this, we will be able to do policing in the country.
Now, perhaps we're talking about at least two different things. The one that has emerged in this case is the infiltration, or certainly if Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has his way, the infiltration into the whole criminal justice system.
Yeah.
of drug cartels and high-end individuals, high-end because of the proceeds of crime, and the infiltration at the highest level. And fingers have been pointed at certain individuals in this hearing at the Matlanga Commission. So there's that, which we can discuss briefly. The other one is, you would agree, crime levels in our country is unacceptably high.
Yes.
And that would be, the causes of that would be incompetence, incapacity, a lack of funding, gaps within the police. I mean, I didn't particularly listen, but if you listen to the ballistics evidence at the Matlanga Commission yesterday, it's in the ballistics, which is so critically important, because we have so many, so much illegal firearms around. So it's very important to identify the right bullet and all that. But because we're underfunded, we don't have enough people to work in that particular area. And of course the criminals know this.
Yeah.
And it's even worse when they have people on the inside who tell them this, or who work with them. But so in this inquiry, and this is to test your I don't know if it's a theory or if it's just your sense that it's some bad people. They're people highly placed, and according to the evidence, I rely on the evidence that if you join the dots, this directive on 31 December comes at this, apart from it being 31 December, which is, you would agree, a highly unusual day or date to issue a directive of such importance. You're nodding your head, you agree?
I fully agree that the 31st, it's a...
So you do that, and then there appears to be, yes, according to you anyway, the minister chatted to you and deputy minister and so on, but the people involved in the PKTT, they're not consulted. Those are the facts, objectively. The minister relies on a number of reasons why or what informed the directive, including a letter written to him. I'm sure you heard of the Mary Daas letter. Yeah. You heard of Patricia Mashale, who was referred to the Inspector General. But I put it only subsequently, but the Inspector General actually said that, look, it's highly unreliable. 70–80% of it hasn't been proven. But he relies on things like that. And there's other reasons. So, and then you have the disestablishment of the PKTT, a unit that you have rightly conceded was highly effective, and you can't think why it would be disbanded. But if you link the work that the PKTT does, because now its sort of role has also been expanded to Fort Hare, and it's now also assisting the Gauteng murder and robbery in relation to their dealings with a crime syndicate and a drug syndicate there, and the arrest on the 6th of December, which Kumalo says, when Kwinasio said that switched the lights on for them. Then you hear the evidence that Matlala said to the minister, allegedly, that Sabia was going to draft an affidavit which would implicate, to former Minister Cele. He's going to draft an affidavit implicating Kumalo in the theft of a stolen Rolex. So former Minister Cele must speak to Kumalo. about this. Now, if all this is true, you would agree this points to a much more serious problem. And then fast forward into 2025, what appears to be the refusal of the minister to accede to a request by Lieutenant General Konazi to discuss the political killings task team with him, his apparent irritation, if not anger. I think you called it, what did you call it?
Not satisfied.
He didn't appear to be satisfied.
I said he expressed his dissatisfaction.
Dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
Dissatisfaction. So the evidence from General Masemola, even he, further on into 2025, he says if you join the dots, then all this looks very suspicious. So I'm hoping to that was a fair narrative or fair summary of what we've heard thus far. Now, given that summary, isn't this more than what you're telling us? Because you're also here to help us deal, because you address the challenges, but it seems to me pointless you addressing the challenges when you say, actually, the challenges is just get rid of 4 or 5 people and everything will be hunky-dory. And that's not what you're saying.
No.
Then you must tell us a bit more.
No, I said, SC, that the institution SAPS is intact. Yes, you have elements who do what they are not supposed to do. You remove these elements, will SAPS operate? I say it is operating now. It will operate better. But this does not mean that you won't have elements that do things that they are not supposed to do. Because if I say that, and 6 months down the line or 12 months down the line, something comes out that somebody is engaged in activities that they are not supposed to engage in, and then I will be asked, but you said it will never happen. So I can't sit here and say something like that. This is a big institution, as I said, over 100,000 men and women that are functional. You have a minority that is doing what is not supposed to do. We have these hearings now involving the minister, the national commissioner, the provincial commissioner of KZN as the main person. But the institution is functioning effectively despite this. This is an indication that the body is well. It's just that the body is not 100% well. Because if it was 100% well, we wouldn't be here.
Oh, well. I thought you said white. No, well.
No, well. Well, yeah.
Sorry,
so, yeah. So that's what I'm saying, Senior Counsel. You know, a perfect society or a perfect institution we wish to have, we will always have elements in it that are doing things they are not supposed to do. And I agree with your session around the resources that that have affected SAPS. For instance, the number of police officers that we have today is less than what we had in 2010. So over the years, people have been leaving because of old age, others resigning because there are other things they are pursuing. But we're not replenishing every year. It's in the past 3 years that the president intervened and we were able to recruit 10,000 personnel every year to join SAPS, which gave us 30,000 over 3 years. It has never happened in the history of South Africa to train 10,000 police officers at a go. And our institution could not carry these 10,000 at the same time. We had to talk to the army to provide barracks for us to train some of our officers. It was an intervention to try and build the personnel, because we have instances where in a shift you find 1 or 2 police officers working because of the shortage. So yeah, the issue of resources has been a problem, but there have been an intervention that assisted us to do, and I hope that the president will intervene again, so that maybe in the next 3 years or 4 we can train another 10,000, which will assist us to stabilize the institution in terms of personnel. Of course, the resources, machinery, vans, and police stations, there is also a serious shortcoming in that regard, which we discussed and agreed that we must be innovative and think outside the box if we are to effectively deal with these shortages of building police stations, acquiring vehicles, and other equipments that are necessary for our operations.
Now, if you hear, like we've heard in this hearing, that highly placed ministers and former ministers share the telephone numbers and WhatsApp messages with well-known, notorious criminals or alleged criminals involved in high crime, would you do something like that? Have you got any numbers of gangsters or people involved in crime at a high level? Do you share numbers with them?
I don't.
You don't, because you don't think it's prudent and it's the right thing to do?
I'm deployed here to be part of the team that fight crime. And at a political level, I must conduct myself in such a manner that I lend credence to that mandate that I have been given. So I will not knowingly have communication and correspondences with people who are engaged in criminal activities.
Because one of the things that it's a very important aspect that this honourable committee must look at is how do we restore trust and confidence in the South African police services?
Trust and confidence is earned by the actions that we engage in. If we interact with the South African population in such a manner that we don't earn their trust, we will not get that. I have said on several occasions when I interact with the leadership of the police and with communities that we must earn our trust. When we go to a community and we engage with the community must be able to say, we are happy with the conduct of police officials in our local station, in the district, in the province, and national. And until they say so, we must know that we have not reached that objective. But it is doable, because there are police officers, both at a station level and even at a provincial or district or national level, who have earned the respect of our people by their conduct. And people come to have confidence in them. But if we engage in such a manner that people don't feel and trust what we say, it will be a steep hill. But it's doable, because I've seen it practically where we have intervened, for instance, at a locality, removed a station commander, put a new station commander, that station commander establishing working relations with the community. And the community will say, we are happy with this station commander. Or they will say, when you go and have a community outreach program, they will say, when you live here, you must live with this station commander, because he or she is not serving us to our satisfaction because of A, B, C, D.
But now the problem is worse than that. We're not talking about station commanders. The evidence here is that at the highest level of the police, crime detection, support services, policing, the Hawks, crime detection, crime intelligence, this is what's all emerged here. Yes, it does impact and affect the police, the members down there, because they take instructions from these high-level people. But if you have a minister or a former minister with the phone numbers, and not only phone numbers, but exchanging messages, or even worse, meeting with these people, what message does that send?
Of course, it doesn't send a good message, SC. The reason why the leadership of this institution have taken a decision to establish this ad hoc committee, and the leadership of the country have taken a decision to put a commission that are respectively led by Honorable Khanyani and Judge Matanga, is to precisely to get to the bottom of the issues that that we are discussing, with the view that the day you rise out of this, and the day the Madlanga Commission rises, there must be action and consequences against anybody who has acted in the manner that undermines the rule of law and the integrity of the South African Police Service, the judiciary, and any other person who have abated these activities to happen. There must be consequences. But and if there are no consequences out of these two processes, we mustn't expect our people to respect and trust what we say we are going to do. There must be consequences after this.
But the way we get to the bottom of this is through asking people like yourself, in positions of authority, of importance, that we look up to as citizens to keep us safe. For you to come here and to testify and tell us exactly what is happening there. In that way, we unravel whether or not anything has gone wrong, and if so, how to go about fixing it. But we can, I'm still on this point of mine, that
Thank you.
You can't simply say it's 3 or 4 or 5 people who are bad. We need more than that. I obviously can't ask you to make up stories, but you've been a deputy minister for 4 or 5 years. We can surely say you're in the know. You know what's happening.
Sure.
So tell us what's happening.
I have a chair through you, SC, explained what happened or what is happening. The details of criminality that is alleged to have been taken, you need to have the capability and the capacity to do that. And I think we have men and women with that ability. And I think in the Madlanga Commission, for instance, there are people who have been able to explain and unravel the communications that have been there, who said what to who, and what happened. And it is because of that capability that exists that we were able to put the dot. And we are here because of precisely that capability that is there within the police, because earlier on it was said that there were discussions that appeared to be innocent discussions, and in the course of our capability doing work, certain information emerged that then linked certain activities to what is happening in the country. So it is that capability that have been able to see, no, there is a problem here, what's happening? And that capability that enabled further investigations that then revealed more than what met the eye. And of course, myself seated here before you, I preside over that capability, but I don't possess that capability myself. That's why within the institution you have got your detectives, you have got your crime intelligence, who will be able to further probe and get to the bottom of things. So it is through that the issues we are discussing have been unearthed. I think on my part, I did what is necessary for me to come and explain what one has observed over the time, and I did that to the best of my ability without concealing anything from what had transpired.
Well, it seems to me that perhaps we should also, or Parliament should also look at the role that deputy ministers play or might play in the future.
Yeah,
because either you're not telling us everything, or you don't know everything because it wasn't shared with you, or it's been hidden from you, which would be concerning for someone in the position that you're in. And perhaps if we look at going into the future, a deputy minister that you share with your other colleague, Deputy Minister Boshielo, should be more clearly defined, so that you can also act as some kind of so that there's some accountability on the part of a minister also, not to simply do his own thing. Because you would accept that the directive of 31 December was the minister doing his own thing. You can't say what went on in his mind.
You want a comment?
I want a comment.
Okay,
he didn't act in concert with you or your other deputy. He didn't consult.
Yeah. The existence of deputy ministers is a constitutional matter that within the constitution the president can appoint deputy ministers to, in this case, the police.
But their roles are not defined.
The roles are not defined, but they must be defined by the minister as to delegate to the deputy minister. And the reason why that has not been done is because the minister was in a process of familiarizing and understanding the complexities within SAPS. And once he is clear on who must do what, he was going to do the delegation, because the president has instructed that ministers must delegate to deputy ministers and sign off and agree that these are the responsibilities of the deputy minister, and the deputy minister will be made accountable for this responsibility that he or she has been assigned with. And it is these responsibilities that the deputy ministers must be held accountable by Parliament, because Parliament have oversight over the executive, the minister and the deputy ministers. And in instances where a specific responsibility has not been assigned to you, you will then be accountable to specific responsibilities that are delegated to you from time to time.
But, Deputy Minister, some with a suspicious mind, like me, because that's what I do for a living, would also consider the delay by the minister in defining those responsibilities, or rather delegating those responsibilities for you for now over a year, could also have something to do with the fact that the directive has now been issued.
I don't think, Senior Counsel, we could say that. The directive and the delegation of responsibilities are two different things. And the minister did not delegate because he wanted to issue directives before. I don't think he ever thought that way. It's just that for now you will say it's water under the bridge because the directive have been issued and the delegation has not yet been done.
Well, if
Senior Counsel, may we please take
sorry,
Honorable Ngola.
No, Chair, I think the last response covered my follow-up question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You may proceed, SC.
As a new minister that has now taken more than a year to familiarize himself with how SAPS operates and works, which seems to be your rationale why the minister hasn't yet allocated those roles, because he's still getting to grips what's happening within the police. Is that right?
I don't have another explanation for that. I think that's what I assume is the reason why by now that has not been done.
Again, for those with a suspicious mind might say, well, he got to grips very quickly with why he should get rid of the political killing stars team and not the child trafficking team, the drugs team, you know, all those task teams, those specialist task teams, the mining team, all doing very, very important work. Mm-hmm. But this particular task team has been singled out.
Well, you can think that way. I can't explain why this one and not that one. I think the minister will be in a position to better explain that particular question.
Do you think we should ask him for what is the way forward, or let's leave it?
Maybe just briefly, because we have sitting without answers.
Okay. Deputy Minister, just then, lastly, your comment that it's highly troubling, extremely troubling, that you have, you know, one of the deputy national commissioners openly dissenting with the national commissioner, with I think our most senior, I think he actually maintains that he's the most senior of all the high-ranking officer, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. You know, he's got his own opinions. So there's a clash with the national commissioner. There's a clash with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, who acted as National Commissioner, as you know, in 2011, 2012. Openly having differences with them. And Lieutenant General Gwarazi, highly decorated. Just about everybody who sat where you're sitting have praised him for the work that he has done. And then you have Sabia differing with them and with Khumalo. It's not a healthy state of affairs.
Yeah.
And you're here to also offer some help and some assistance on how do we remedy this situation. We know we're living in a democratic country with labor laws and with a constitution, and it's not a simple matter of just getting rid of people. But in the meantime, all of us sitting here, people watching, people out there, they rely on the police to keep them safe. So we need answers. If it's unfair, you can think about them and write them down and send them to us. And your counsel are here to listen to this. But if you want a brief closing comment or statement, feel free to do so.
Well, closing comment, yes, but I'm not sure whether you are, because you are saying that the National Commissioner, if I heard you well, General Mkhwanazi and General Sibia differing. What's my opinion is that, did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, I think it manifests a bigger, much bigger problem, a deeper problem, a systemic problem, and we need. You've been in this environment for many years, and that's why we've called you to come and maybe give us some help.
Let's see, the differences of the two officers, the three officers in here, I didn't have a full grasp of what could be the problem between them until when this thing come out and they stand here and say this one is involved with cartels and all those things. I was not aware that General Sibia relate with cartels. I saw him as a DNC doing his work, and Mkhwanazi doing his work in KZN, and Masemula being the National Commissioner. Of course, that there are differences of opinion that did emerge, and I did know that the minister met with the National Commissioner and the DNC and the PC, General Mkhwanazi, to try and assist them to get along, which I believe didn't yield the necessary result, even though they publicly say they work together, all of them. It's an unfortunate thing to can happen. But in an institution as big as SAPS, the leadership must learn how to create a team. Teams don't create themselves. The leadership prevail over individuals that you work with, and you create a team out of that. And it's clear that that did not happen. So it means that moving forward from here, there will be a need to assist the leadership of SAPS to be able to create a team around them. Because without creating a team in SAPS, we will not be able to succeed in our fight against crime.
Now whose responsibility is that?
It's the responsibility of the leadership, both the minister and the National Commissioner. These are the people who are responsible to ensuring that a team gets established in an environment where there is no team. because we don't need to agree, we don't need to be friends to be part of the family of SAPS. We must work together because our objective is to fight crime, and we must be able to assist one another to do that. But if the executive authority and the accounting officer can't create that team, then we will fail.
Then you become like Kaiser Chiefs. My team.
I didn't say that, Senior Counsel, but we'll fail. There is no team that win championships if they don't play as a team. You are a team, you are a goalkeeper, you are part of the back line, you are part of the middle field, you are part of the striker. You can't be a striker without a middle field, you can't be a defender without a goalkeeper. You must become a team. And working as a team means working as a team, not a by the way arrangement or as and when you feel like. Thank you.
But there seems to have been a failure in this case that's given rise to this inquiry.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree with you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister, Honourable Deputy Minister. And thank you very much, Honourable Chair, members. That concludes our questioning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, SC. Thank you so much, Advocate Mohaitz. I can see that you are a very good deputy. And like I've always emphasized, it's an inspiration for many women of this country when they see that Chief Whip, who are swinging the pendulum for things to happen for women of this country. We want to thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. I have said that we were going to start at 3. Full members today, I see Honorable Mathale is enjoying that status. 30 minutes today. And 30 minutes per full member. And then alternates 10 minutes.
Chair, 30 minutes, does it consist of questions and answers?
Yeah, that is what is happening. 30 minutes, full member, 10 minutes, alternates. So if I take a set of 2 members, I take Honorable Ngola and Honorable Sokanyile, your time is 40 minutes. Oh yeah. So it means your time is 1 hour. I wanted us to start at 3. Do we start at 3 or do you want to start now? Honorable James, may I start with you? If you start now, you have a chance to finish at 3. It means you will have 15 minutes. You are not ready. Yeah? Are you ready, Honorable Ngola, Honorable Sokanyile? Yeah. So it's now 14:45 until 15:55. I mean 15:45. Yeah, your time starts now.
Even earlier than that, Chairperson. Greetings. Let me observe the protocol that was observed by you, Chairperson. Going straight to you, Deputy Minister. having an interest on the meeting, the portfolio committee meeting of the 5th of March. I know when we were interacting with the senior counsel, you said some of the issues that were discussed on that day, some of them maybe you don't remember them, but I've got this question. The chairperson of the portfolio committee is here on the ad hoc. I just want to check, because the chairperson of the portfolio committee, in his questioning, he mentioned that SAPS was not clear and direct to what were the real issues regarding the disbandment of the PKTT and the implications that followed. So do you believe the presentation that was made by yourselves to that portfolio committee meeting, they were clear, especially with regard to the disbandment of the PKTT? That's the question.
Thank you, Chair. The presentation that was done on the 5th was a presentation that was briefing the committee on the matters relating to division crime intelligence, the challenges, issues of instability within the division, issues of misinformation and fake news, unproven allegations, and progress on disciplinary cases against senior officers, on progress on the funding and expenditure of crime intelligence, budget arrangements, and the allocation thereof, and the cost drivers, and additional support that is necessary in the space, recruitment, vacancies, filling of vacancies, and human resource capacity posts. Those were the issues that we're briefing the committee on. And this was generally about the work there, which also included the political killings task team. That was the briefing.
Okay, thank you. So nothing was said, even by the minister himself, to say that I intend. Nothing raised like that in that portfolio committee. I take it like that because even yourself, you didn't raise it in your statement. Then, with reference to paragraph 54, it reflects on the discussions that you held with regard to General Khumalo being the head of the crime intelligence, as well as the head of the PKTT, whereby you had held discussions and you were not happy because you also needed to restructure and strengthen the crime intelligence, and yet its head had many roles he played. For instance, it reflected on paragraph 54 and paragraph 55, whereby you held discussion to say that you are removing him on his role be heading the PKTT so that he must focus on the crime intelligence, but you are not removing the crime intelligence part or role that can be played by another person, not being the same person, General Kumalo, heading it. So that's in paragraph 55. Then I just want to check, did this discussion that ensued include the decision to disband the PKTT?
Yeah, so when we're briefing the portfolio committee, we briefed the portfolio committee on where we come from with the political killings task team and where we are going with the task team, given the decision and the directive that was written there. And in the submission, we said that it will be a transitional process. That is what the presentation was saying. And the issue of General Kumalo being allowed to focus on crime intelligence away from the PKTT, it was in the midst of that discussion. I've included it in my submission because I did raise it in the meeting when we were discussing, not before the committee. That it makes sense. I think if we want to strengthen crime intelligence, I think let's allow General Kumalo to focus on this task, because the success in our ability to strengthen crime intelligence will then have spin-offs on policing, on crime fighting, on a number of things that we will be doing as an institution, and will then get another general to lead that. Because when Kumalo was appointed head of the PKTT, he was a major general. And I think if you still maintain that level of deployment, it will still serve the purpose of what the team was doing. And I think the National Commissioner, in his presentation, he did indicate that he is talking of a phased approach in this regard. And this is the presentation that we made to the committee, that we believe the manner of handling this, if we can have a phased-in approach, it will assist a great deal.
Okay. Then with reference to paragraph 57, in those discussions that you held prior the directive of the 31st December, in that directive, it includes the decision to halt the filling of vacancies within SAPS. Then, were they discussed? Did you discuss also the minister? Did he discuss the halting of filling of vacancies in those discussions you held? Because it was also included in that directive.
Well, I can't recall that in particular, but I know that
not particularly in the portfolio committee, in your meetings that you held before the directive that was issued.
Yes, I'm saying the directive that that says you must freeze the appointments. When we were discussing the PTT, I don't recall that discussion. But the other directive which we have not spoken to of the ports of entries, we have had a presentation on that one in at the college.
Okay. In your understanding and being there in the Department of Subs, who has the authority to decide on the decision with regard to issues of employment in subs? Who has that?
Well,
Having
we-
the minister and the national commissioner.
we do play a role in this regard. For instance, when a national commissioner get appointed, a panel was set in, and the Minister of Police was in that panel. Of course, once that has been done,
That the senior positions not.
yes,
Then the lower position,
those ones will just be briefed that this has been so and so is acting. Is appointed for this position. I don't remember participating in the panel that decided who becomes the deputy national commissioner, for instance. We're just briefed that so and so is appointed national commissioner. Not acting deputy national commissioner, or so and so is appointed divisional commissioner. We get briefed. We have never participated in those.
then looking at the directive, because that directive didn't talk about disbandment of the PKTT only. It also talked about halting in filling of vacancies within subs. And if we are going to look at that, and it is the letter written by, it's a directive, in fact, from the minister, can you say that it was correct? Because, for instance, before you came here to that table where you are sitting, a former minister, Cele, was here, said it doesn't have to do anything of employment.
He was correct, yeah,
He was correct.
when he said that. Yeah.
Then when you are having a directive of saying that don't fill up the post, it means that there was an interference.
Well, the minister
In the
can,
work of the national commissioner.
the minister can communicate that I need to discuss with you these issues that I have picked up, which I think need to be looked at by yourself around this. But once you say don't do it in the manner in which that note was crafted, that becomes a problem.
So the minister cannot take that decision on his own.
Yeah.
He must wait for the national commissioner.
Not necessarily to wait for the national commissioner. There must be an engagement between the minister and the national commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Then, Deputy Minister, you don't know, in paragraph 57, you also say that you don't know what informed the minister's decision to issue that directive of December, 31st December, 2024. Did the minister ever, when maybe he was briefing you with other issues or anything. Did he ever raise concerns about the PKTT or the complaints he received about its irregular constitution?
I can't say the PKTT was irregularly constituted because it was not.
Before the directive it was issued.
Before and after, the PKTT even now is not irregularly constituted. It was constituted in a proper manner. When I say I, however, do not know what informed the minister's decision to issue the directives in December. I don't know what was going through his mind when he wrote that letter. Of course, in his explanation, he says he was seated at home and he wrote that directive.
Why I'm raising this? It is because the minister had concern of the PKTT that was established for a long time, and its mandate was being renewed, and it was incurring budgetary constraint at some point because of its extension. So he regarded that as an irregular expenditure. Then, based on your experience and understanding, would you agree with such a proposition that says, indeed, if you are extending the task team time and again, it becomes or it incurred an irregular expenditure?
No, the political killings tax team never incurred irregular expenditure that I know of. If it did, I'm not aware of such a thing. There was no time frame that the PKTT is going to exist from January to December. It was established to deal with a specific problem, and for as long as the problem it has not been completely resolved, that is the cases that came out of it, you can't do away with that task. And for you to then to effectively deal with that, that's why we spoke of a phased-in approach, wherein you create the capacity to deal with that. Mind you, in I think October, November, somewhere there, we were engaged in the organizational structure of SAPS, where we made proposals that ended up being accepted by management and ultimately by labor and signed off by the National Commissioner after the SSSB forum, where negotiations between SAPS and organized labor take place on changes that get effected with regard to the organizational structure of the South African police. So that signing off then created a platform wherein we need to capacitate appropriately our murder and robbery unit that will be able to take over all murder-related cases in the Republic. And the PKTT was, the work that it was doing ultimately was going to be infused into that institution. But because you have just approved it and you are going to deal with capacitating that institution, until you finish that process, there will be coexistence of two. Your PKTT will continue to exist, and as you face it into the murder and robbery unit. It will be a process that will happen over time. It might take you six months, it might take you 12 months. It will depend on how fast that process unfolds. And between now and that time that it gets integrated, it will obviously incur expenses, but those expenses will not become irregular. They are within the law, and if the Auditor General then come to establish that no, this thing is irregular, he will do so and express an opinion. But I don't think the accounting officer will allow a situation where finances of the institutions are spent irregularly. That's why I'm saying there's no expenditure which was irregular that was incurred by the PKTT.
But there were increasing costs that were there in financing their operations, that is the PKTT. In fact, if there were, did you ever discuss that in your meetings that you held prior to the directive?
Well, any task team that you form, it will increase your expenses because you are creating something that is not there. And you are going to take personnel from other provinces to go and work. In this case, you are taking people from other parts of the country to go and work in KZN. They don't stay there. So when they arrive there, you must deal with their needs, both accommodation and transfer costs and all those things, a cost that you didn't have before you took that decision. So it's logical that your expenses will increase in this regard. But I don't think that should be what guides us. What guides us is the problem at hand that we want to deal with. And if we are going to incur cost in dealing with that problem, so be it. And I think that's what happened. I'm not saying we don't care about the expenses of the state. We care a lot. And we want to use them sparingly. But where circumstances pushes us, like in this case, where you had an outcry, you had a commission set up to look at the matters that were taking place in KZN, we had to finance a response to that phenomena. And that's why we ended up having these expenses that we incurred.
Okay. You mentioned that consultation would have been good as a matter of courtesy. You were not consulted whatsoever. Given your comment on courtesy, how would you categorize the minister's directive? Would you say that the minister acted in good faith? I know when you were interacting with the senior counsel, you said that it was problematic where the minister, you don't know what went on in the mind of the minister to issue such a directive. Now, I want, how would you categorize the minister's directive given on the 31st December?
Well, the 31st December is the 31st December, Honorable. It's New Year's Eve. And, well, personally, that day I observed the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. How do I categorize that? It's unusual. I think it's that's why I say it's very difficult to comprehend what was going through his mind as he was penning out that letter.
Is there any other directive that the minister had ever given to the department apart from this one of the PKTT that had an immediate flavor in it?
Not to my knowledge, but there have been interaction between the minister and the national commissioner. Some of the interactions did not include us, and they were able to communicate, and things got done. It might be in other instances it delayed here and there, but they ended up being done. This, I think, was I think it's the only communique that I know of that came and brought us here.
You mentioned that the interface between the executive oversight and the operational autonomy is constitutionally delicate. Can you expand, highlighting the delicacy of the interaction, and where do we draw the line?
Yeah, the executive authority is the political head of the institution, and the accounting officer is the administrative head of the institution. The two have authority or power. Let me say the two have power. But in the exercise of their power, they must take into consideration each other's existence and interface in such a manner that they complement each other's work. I know it's a very difficult environment within government, both national, provincial, and local our municipalities, where the interface tend to be sometimes a bit difficult for the incumbent to manage. But in the main, the relationship between the two is dialectical in the sense that the political authority, the executive authority, needs the accounting officer and vice versa. They must complement each other. If they work together well, you won't be here. But if there's a misstep on the two, you will come here quite often.
And consult each other.
Absolutely.
Lastly, Deputy Minister, in paragraph 17, you are saying that the current minister he didn't give you any delegated responsibility, both of you as deputy ministers. You are there in the office, and you are saying that you have said the minister is still familiarizing himself with the office. Can you say that the minister didn't familiarize himself with the issues of PKTT because an immediate directive was given? But now you are still waiting patiently.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Yes, we don't have delegated powers signed off that this is what you do, this is what you are doing. But we had work to do, and we were not like sitting in the office not knowing what to do. I have a program that says this is what we are going to do, and today I have a program that says I'm here. In fact, since yesterday and today and tomorrow, if the committee will still require me to be here. If not, we will work out a program of what to do tomorrow when we rise. from here. Yes, I don't have any other better explanation, really, that the minister did not give us delegated authority up to now, except that that which I said, that I believe he was still familiarizing himself. But I think from where we are now, from the beginning up to now, I think he's ready to do that. Because, you know, even by the time the directive came out, I think we were almost at the tail end, even though the organogram was not yet signed off. As I said, I think it was signed off around May of subs. But I think it will be fair for me to sit here, Chair, and say that the minister is ready. If you know, it happens that this process is concluded tomorrow and they say everybody go to work, we should be able to have delegations. Yeah.
Okay. You know what, Minister? I'm just finishing.
You
You
show,
know what, Minister?
Honorable Sokanyile, you show respect to others by respecting time allocated to you. That's how
No,
you
no,
show
I
respect to.
always
That's
respect
how you show respect to others.
No, it's just a comment to assure the Deputy Minister that this ad hoc committee will issue a directive with immediate effect that these deputy ministers are delegated their responsibilities. It will be this ad hoc committee. Thank you, Chairperson.
Pass the microphone.
Thank you, Chair. May I proceed? DM, how do you work without delegated powers? You wake up in the morning, you go to the office and do what? DM, did you get my question?
Oh, okay. I thought
You wake up in the morning, you bath, you wear a very nice suit, arrive there in the department, and do what?
as
Can you get close to the mic?
okay. No, thanks, Honorable. You are right. It will appear like we don't have anything to do, but we do, because the department that we are dealing with is vast, and you need to have your pulse on what is happening with the entities that are there. We have to ensure that the ministry is functional, the department is working, coordination is done. The interaction that we were having of the things that needs to be done gets done. That's why you have policing taking place in the country. The fact that we are not delegated specific responsibilities, it doesn't mean that we don't have things to do. We do.
Does it usually take this long?
Of course, but there is a difference between the 6th and the 7th administration. In the 6th administration, I came in within a short space of time. I got my delegated responsibilities, which is attached there. And the reason why it was so quick is because I was working with another police officer in the form of General Kele. And fast forward to now, the minister comes from a different environment. And this ministry, Honorable, it's complex. You can't just say you are responsible for this, you are responsible for that, without having that deeper understanding yourself. And I think it was necessary for the minister to go through the processes that he has gone through. And as I said earlier, that if this process is concluded tomorrow, I think, and the minister is coming back into office tomorrow, he will be able to allocate us responsibilities because he fully understands SAPS and its operation now as we speak. In fact, he's wiser. He's much, much wiser. Thank you.
Okay, you arrive at SAPS in 2019.
Yeah.
General Spear testified under oath before this ad hoc committee and said, everyone in the SAPS knows Ket Mathale because he's popular within the organization for the work he's doing in the SAPS. How well do you know Mr. Mathale?
I think, I don't want to say it was, you can't say everyone.
Can you get close to your mic?
You can't say, why is it that it looks like I'm far from the mic when you speak, Honorable? You can't say everybody knows him because that might not be factual. But you can say there are some people who know him in SAPS. That will be accurate because indeed it's some. Personally, I don't know him. I don't know him. I only came to know him when these issues started to hit the wall and it was in the public space. But I didn't get the opportunity to meet with him.
Okay. Do you think it is in the best interest of the crime-fighting efforts to dissolve the political killings task team?
It's in the best interest of the crime-fighting effort. The political task team, it was not necessarily SAPS response to fighting crime. It was a SAPS response to fighting political killings that happened in KZN. And it did a very good job as a task team. But when you want to respond to fighting crime, the organizational structure that has been signed off by the National Commissioner, I think it helps us to have an instrument that we can effectively use to fight crime, because it has taken into consideration a number of factors into it. And the need to, for instance, when we separated visible policing into two, to have operational response as a division and to have policing as a division was part of that response. The way crime intelligence have been, the organizational structure have been structured now, it's a way that I can say we have positioned ourselves appropriately to fight crime with that. Crime intelligence, the way it is structured now, is not the same as the way it was structured, I think, 2018, which was signed off. We had a process which we started in the 6th administration of how crime intelligence must look like. And in that engagement, we also engage with the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence about the structure of crime intelligence, and we discussed. They made their input, and they said, "Yeah, I think now you are better structured," which now has been approved as a structure that will assist us. So the combination of properly structured crime intelligence and the detectives section, that is a better organized way to respond to the high rate of crime. But the task team did its work, and it did its work effectively. And task teams, at some point when the task is no longer at hand, they cease to exist, but there are no time frames.
It performed its tasks effectively.
Yeah.
So, does that mean you don't agree with the sentiments that it is not adding any value in policing in South Africa?
Yeah, let me say yes.
Okay. We can pass that. The task team in itself is comprised as a multidisciplinary team.
Yeah.
It's comprised of various departments, which some do not even fall under SAPS.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a rational decision to want to dissolve without consulting the sister departments that are part of the team?
Yeah, look, any effective investigation that will lead to prosecution must always be prosecutorial guided, because prosecution plays a role in the fight against crime or dealing with criminality. So once you have got a prosecutorial-led process of investigation, in most cases, the outcome of that process is always good. Unlike an investigation that is not prosecutorial guided, you will go to and fro on a matter that you can go once to the prosecution and they say this is the right thing, let's do it. So it was a good thing to integrate them. Of course, when you say this team must fold, there is nothing wrong in you taking such a decision, but embarking on a process that takes everybody on board as you implement. You can't take a decision and implement, and when in the course of implementing, you then want to solicit an opinion. That might have shortcomings. So it's important that all the role players must be taken on board. By the way, they did not establish themselves. They were established. So as you disestablish, you must take them on board.
Okay. We have received numerous testimonies as the ad hoc committee, some with contradicting statements. Some reckon that the decision to dissolve the PKTT is a policy matter. Some reckon that it is purely an operational matter, which does not fall within the ambits of ministers' powers. So what's your take on that?
Look, a decision to say that we think the task team has done its work, but we believe we must strengthen this capability that must deal with everything that has to do with murder. There's nothing wrong with that decision. It, in fact, is the right decision to say we must deal with murder, irrespective of where it comes from, whether it affects a politician or it affects traditional leaders or ordinary people. We must deal with it. Therefore, let's strengthen our capacity to deal with that. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it was a good decision to discuss along those lines, given the structure that we have adopted. The issue is the implementation of that decision. If you hear everybody involved, nobody says, no, this team must continue existing forever. There is general consensus that it must discontinue. The issues is how it must be done. The National Commissioner says it must be a phased-in approach, which is correct. It's a transition. you can't implement a decision to de-establish a task team of this nature without taking into consideration how do you deal with the things that it was engaged with without a transitionary phase. You can't. It can't work. That's why today, seated here, we are discussing here, and the team exists out there. And you look at the directives. It's just that we're discussing it. It's written here, but it's irrelevant. That directive. January has come and gone. We are now in October. We are discussing it because of the impact it has had on the issues that we're dealing with. So, yeah, it was not permanent, and at some point it had to fold. Even now, at some point it's going to fold, and the approach of management and everybody is that it will be phased out approach.
Okay. We also have received testimonies from Minister Mchunu, who testified that beyond 2022, the political killing system was not supposed to be in place. So, in a nutshell, meaning that since 2022, the PKTT was operating irregular. Former Minister Cele said in March 2023, the Interministerial Committee actually extended the lifespan of the PKTT, which later in 2024, I think April, the PKTT also met with the president, and the president gave them a thumbs up and that they must continue. So if you are able to grasp what these events that I'm trying to, you'd say that there is contradiction between the two.
Look, like I said, earlier on, Honorable, there was a question to the effect that the PKTT have irregular expenditures. That can only arise if they operate in an illegal. Their existence is illegal. So anything they incur is illegal. And I am of the view that there is nothing illegal about the PKTT. And at no stage did it operate in an illegal environment. If it did, I am not aware of that.
Do you know a work study that has influenced the construction of a new organogram?
Yes.
When was the new organogram agreed and concluded?
It was signed off now, I think, May 2020, this year.
May 2025.
Yeah.
Meaning that it cannot have a retrospective effect to the PKTT because the directives predate the signing of the new organogram.
No, but the organogram has nothing to do with it was not designed to fit the PK. It was not designed in response to the PKTT. The two are mutually exclusive.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. I think I'm done for now.
Yeah, no, you deserve a standing ovation. Thank you so much. Yeah. That as you can whisper to Honorable Breitenbach and tell her that the chair says that as 8 seconds, 8 Sonnerlek.
You have a very low bar.
Thank you so much. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's check the time first. It's 15:35. and then it ends at it's 40 minutes. Yeah. Yes. So you have 25 minutes plus 15. It's quarter past 4. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you very much. DM, let's start from where you left off with Honorable Ngola on the issue of a new study which gave birth to a new organogram that you say it was signed on the, in May 2025. In your statement on page 19, paragraph 58, you are saying there is a Brixton murder and robbery, which was established. Well, when was it established?
The Brixton?
Yeah, the Brixton.
No, it in the olden days, the apartheid period, you had a murder and robbery unit, the Brixton murder and robbery unit, which it seems like it was doing a good job, because I came to know about it in my village, where I come from in Zanin.
Okay.
Then that is way back. So in the discussions about the organizational structure of SAPS, one raised this issue that, but you know, you had things that were effectively working during the apartheid era.
Okay.
It's not everything that apartheid did which was wrong. There are things that they did which were helpful, which we can use in the new dispensation. It is in that context that we speak about that. And I think this then talks to the murder and robbery unit that is in the new in the organogram. I'm not saying that they were not working on this. I'm just saying it is there now in the organogram. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you are saying under the administration of the former Minister of Police, Minister Cassel, you were also responsible for IPIT.
Yeah.
And backlogs in court. Let's start with the first aspect, the IPIT. So what is the role of the Deputy Minister if he's responsible for IPIT?
No, it's the role that the Minister play over IPIT. They remain an independent police investigative directorate, but under the guidance of the Minister.
So the classification process, do you know how it goes?
Classification of what?
Of information, documents by IPIT.
Yeah, they will. It's like any other department. You do work, and depending on the sensitivity of the issues that you are dealing with, as the person responsible for that act, you classify the information. There are processes and procedures that they follow to do that.
So is it correct to say it's classified by the original owner or original author?
Yes, but the executive director is the custodian, is the accounting officer. Is the one that gives that stamp of approval.
So the minister does not get involved?
It's not his decision.
Okay. And then how would you describe your relationship with the former minister, Minister Cassel? Is there a dichotomy between the relationship that you had with him and the relationship that you have with the current minister in terms of the working relationship?
I had a good working relationship with both ministers. General Cassel, I came to work with him now when I became deputy minister, and we haven't worked together before. Personality-wise, we are two different people, but we were able to find a way to work very well together. Ultimately, we worked very well. The current minister, I've known him before he became a minister, when he was a provincial secretary of the ANC in KZN, and I was the provincial secretary in Limpopo, though he came at the tail end when the last term of my office as secretary, but almost a year or so that I worked with him, and we came to interface, even though even in this case, when I was premier, he became premier, but I exited quicker. The space, but we maintained contact over the years. But to come and work together in an office, it started now, and of course I looked forward to working with him, given the fact that I have worked with him before as secretary, and him being secretary of the province. I didn't foresee any difficulties, and we worked well from the beginning up till now. We still work well together. It's just this incident that happened, which has now brought us here. But otherwise, we work well and we relate very well.
Okay. So you said your functions are entailed in the performance plan, right?
My functions, as in 2018, 2019, I had delegated responsibilities signed off by the minister and myself.
Yes.
And this time around, we have not yet arrived at that. We were still working as and when tasks are assigned. Yeah.
Okay. So your functions remain valid for as long as the administration is valid. So they elapse when you go to another administration.
No, yes. My delegated authority lapsed the day after the president was sworn in as the president of the republic.
Okay, so when the new minister comes in, he must formulate another performance plan for you. Then for how long, after how long should that task be done? Let me just ask it this way. In the previous administration, after how long was it done?
Well, it was done fairly quicker. And the reason being that I was dealing with a police officer, in the sense that General Kelly was the national commissioner. And when I came in, he was a minister appointed in 2018 when President Ramaphosa became president in the 5th administration. So when the 6th administration came, General Kelly was reappointed as Minister of Police. So you had somebody who was fairly conversant with his responsibilities. And that explains why it was quick. With Minister Mkunu, he had to understand the complexities of the institution. Mind you, here you are talking of a department with 4 departments, basically 5 departments in one. You are police, you are DPCI, you are civilian secretariat for police, and IPID, and ultimately CIRA, and the entities, like your DNA board, DPCI judge. Those are the instruments that belong to this one department. So it's not, you can't just walk in and suddenly know who must do what. You need to fully understand. When you delegate people what you understand yourself. Yeah.
So does it mean even the other DM, because we have two deputy
Yeah.
ministers, right?
Yeah.
Does not have functions that are delegated to him?
Yes, noted yet.
So both of you.
Yeah.
Now, if you are to be honest with us or with South Africans, do we need deputy ministers? Do we need two deputy ministers in SAPS?
Absolutely.
Under the circumstances, because you are, I think you are, how many months have you been in office? Have you spent in office?
A year.
A year. You have spent 12 months in office with no delegated functions, because that indirectly means that you add no value to the minister's work. If after 12 months he has not given any function to you through a performance agreement. So he is simply saying, you guys are not adding any value to my work. So there's no need for me to formulate any performance agreement or any performance plan that delegates functions to you. Because a performance plan is triggered by the practical need, by a practical need. They don't just take it from the atmosphere. When there is a need for you to do something, they write that need down and give you responsibilities to resolve those needs. Now, that has not happened for 12 months. Now, do two deputy ministers add any value under the current form?
Definitely they do, Honorable. It doesn't mean that delegations, because delegations have not done, therefore, the department can function without deputy ministers. It doesn't mean that. There is relevance to their creation. And as I said, that SAPS is not like other ministries. It's a huge department. A department that is complex in how it is structured. You have 4 entities that are in themselves departments. And you need to preside over them. So yes, there is a need and a necessity. The delay, it's a delay that we have had, but that delay cannot explain why you can't have deputy ministers. It had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, no, I hear you, DM, but I disagree. A delay for 12 months, not just an ordinary delay, for 12 months without any task given to you. In terms of, I know that now it's issue-based, but it's not in terms of the performance plan or in terms of the performance agreement. And that makes things to be difficult for you, because I know that, I know you as a politician. I know that you are an efficient person. So I'm sure that even the current circumstances, they are a frustration to you, because you end up sometimes not knowing what to do, because there's actually nothing that gives you a responsibility from a performance plan. And the delay is inexcusable. It was going to be excusable maybe if it was a delay of 1 month, 2 months, but you have spent 12 months in office without a performance agreement. And whereas you are two, we're not talking about 1 deputy minister, 2 deputy ministers.
No, look, there is no way that the delays that we have experienced, you can say on the basis of that you don't need deputy ministers. You can't. I believe the nature of the organization you are dealing with necessitate the need for that. And you must deal with the delays. And I think, like I said earlier on, Honorable, that if the Minister Mkono, tomorrow we rise and we conclude and he must come to work on Thursday, I'm certain that delegations will be attended to. He's ready to do that.
So, DM, can a justification that says the reason why you were not consulted as deputy ministers is because there is no performance plan or agreement that was given to you. So actually a need to consult you did not arise because of that prevalent fact. Would you agree with that? Would that justification accord with logic?
I don't think it will be appropriate or correct to reach that conclusion on honorable. You can't, on the basis of that letter, then conclude that that is the motivation why it was crafted the manner in which he did, because it's not. He himself have said before you that he was resting at home and he was thinking about the tasks at hand, and he decided to pen that letter, and nothing beyond that motivated him to do it the way he did. And I think he concedes as well that yes, he has written the letter, but also those who felt things should have been handled differently, they should have picked up a call. And I think one of the honorables here asked a question to say, while you expect a call, why didn't you call as well? Didn't you think it's wise for you to call? And I guess he considered that it's both ways. So it really had nothing to do with efficiency or non-efficiency of deputy ministers. It's a decision that was made, and I think with retrospect, it could have been made differently.
Okay. The minister, when he was here, he cited the Constitution as a source which gives him powers to do, which gave him powers to do what he did on the 31st of December. And he said the Constitution gives him a right to issue directives.
Yeah.
Now, my reaction to that is that there is a difference between a directive and an instruction. A directive must be given in terms of the constitutional order. If the Constitution gives me a right to open this bottle, and it gives you a right to give me a direction, it doesn't mean that you can open this bottle on my behalf. It means you can say to me, Nomvalo, I think you must open this bottle. And then a directive is limited to that extent. A directive can't mean that you can take a decision on my behalf. Now, if I characterize what the minister did, I characterize it as an instruction. An instruction which went beyond a constitutional order. In my view, an ideal scenario will be a situation where the minister calls the National Commissioner and say, National Commissioner, in my view, there is absolutely no need for this PKTT at this moment. It does not add any value anymore. It is wasteful expenditure. So in my view, the task team must be disbanded. So what the minister did, in my view, is that he did what was supposed to be done by the National Commissioner under the name of a directive. And that was a serious misunderstanding of his constitutional obligation on his part. Do you agree with me if I put that scenario?
Well, the letter was written in the manner in which it was crafted and sent to the National Commissioner. The interface that must happen between the executive authority and the counting officer, it's a dialectical interface between the two offices, as I tried to explain earlier on, that the executive authority need to interact with the accounting officer and vice versa. If the executive authority issues out a communique that the accounting officer feels is out of sync, there is a responsibility on the side of the accounting officer to say this is out of sync because of the following, and it can be done that way. And they should take it like that and proceed, because there is no other way that things can be done except that interface between the two. If you look at the earlier comment about a meeting that took, I think it's the meeting of the 5th, where the minister led a delegation to the portfolio committee. Effectively, the minister submitted to the portfolio committee that the PKTT is going to be dissolved, and is going to be, this process is going to be done in phases. There will be a transitional period. That is the presentation that served before the committee, presented by the minister. I'm saying presented by the minister because when we go and appear before the portfolio committee, we are led by the minister as the executive authority, and the national commissioner is the accounting officer. When we present through whoever is presenting, delegated by the minister and the national commissioner ultimately presenting, it is the minister presenting because it's his document, but it is presented through somebody who is in that space. But technically, it is the decision, it is the minister's decision to talk of that transitional approach. The national commissioner says, no, I agree to a phased-in approach. But the two of them appeared before a committee and presented an approach to how the PKTT process must be handled. So despite the fact that there is a directive that was issued, but they presented jointly to say this is how it's going to be done. And that was totally against what the directive was saying. I don't know whether I'm with.
Yeah, I'm following you, DM.
Yes.
So, in conclusion, you agree with my statement or with my narrative that the decision does not fall within the ambits of a directive entailed in the Constitution. In fact, that was not a directive, but it's a decision that was taken on behalf of the National Commissioner, and he was simply instructed to implement it as is. Did you agree with that narrative?
No, but what was implemented is different to what is written in the letter. I'm saying the interface between the accounting officer and the executive authority is a dialectical relationship. It is not a one way that do this and what you say gets done the way you want it to be done. You say do this, and the administration come and do what you say they must do, but in a manner that it makes sense. That's why it became a phased-in approach as we presented.
I would say, I would slightly differ with you and say in the manner that is permissible.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, in the manner that is allowed by the law or by the Constitution.
We're saying the same thing. I agree with you.
Yeah, in this case, because if you say in the manner that makes sense, that can be subjective.
Of course.
Because what makes sense to me might not make sense to you. But there is a Constitution which gives guidance here on what a directive is and how the directive can be issued to the National Commissioner. Now, there is a proposition that you are making, which I agree with, but I just want you to broaden it a little bit by giving more substance to it. That making documents electronically, I mean dockets, because the conclusion that I've drawn from what you are saying is that the current system is vulnerable. Documents can be stolen, and the content therein can be altered, unfairly so. Now, before I go to the question that I want to ask, there is an issue of documents which of dockets which were taken from KZN to Pretoria.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
I was not aware of that until I was notified that something like that happened.
Oh, when were you notified?
I think it was I don't know of the exact date, but I can get that. I received an SMS from General Sevilla that there are dockets that are being taken here to KZN, which were brought in here, and those dockets can't be touched because the commission, they must be given to the commission, something like that. That's when I realized there's something like this, which I raised the matter with the National Commissioner. And the National Commissioner said, no, he will make sure that nothing happens that jeopardizes the work of the commission.
Okay, so that was after the press briefing of the 6th?
Yeah.
Okay, but before they were taken to Pretoria, you were not aware?
No.
And before the press briefing on the 6th of July, you were not aware?
No.
Okay. Now, you are saying because you were also responsible for the backlogs under the administration of Minister Cassel. You are saying this modernization that you are proposing can resolve all those challenges, including the issue of a backlog.
Yeah, yes, it can. Yes, it can, because the problems of the backlog were not necessarily a problem or a challenge of modernization. It was just inefficiencies in the administration of the laboratory, the things that they work with in the laboratory. For instance, the machines, they need to be maintained. There are contracts for chemicals that are used in the laboratories that were not in place. I mean, we visited the laboratory here in Cape Town with General Cassel. We found machines that had stickers of out of order, just because they were not collaborated. You know, when you don't take your car to service, it malfunctions. So the machines must be in working order for them to give you results that are appropriate. So we developed a project with Deputy Minister Jeffries from Justice, so that from the justice side, they must prioritize cases that are serving before the leadership for one reason or the other. That must be processed to make sure that when that time comes for those cases, we are ready to process them, because there were cases that were thrown out of court because we were not ready with the results. So it was that which we were dealing with. The modernization that one was talking to is with regard to your case dockets that are manual, you know, files, and they get stolen either in the hands of police or they are stolen in court. They disappear. So once the docket is stolen, you can't reconstruct. It's difficult to reconstruct. But if it's electronic, it's safe. If it gets stolen, you just go and download the file and make it ready for use in court. yes, modernization can assist in a variety of ways, including policing, body cameras, the problems of the challenge around stolen guns. We lose guns in the police. If they steal your gun, you can't trace it. So if you mark them, because technology exists for that, it can help us a great deal.
Okay. No, I think DM, you can make submissions. I take that submission as a valid one. You can also make submissions to the Department of Justice. I think there is a bill that they are currently busy with. But on top of what you are saying, don't you think that enrolling matters which are not ready in court also contributes to a backlog problem? For instance, enrolling a matter whose investigation is not complete, a matter that goes to court for the IO just to say we are still investigating an alternative address. And that matter has been enrolled in the midst of many matters which are being heard in court. Don't you think that also makes a huge undesirable contribution?
I fully agree with you.
Okay, lastly, the chair has made an indication that I'm running out of time. Lastly, if you were a minister at the time when the PKTT was dissolved, and you had a view that the PKTT should be dissolved, what mechanism or what process were you going to follow to ensure that everybody is satisfied and to ensure that you have done everything correctly, you have followed the correct process?
When you are a minister, you are part of a team. And you must always work with your team if you want to be victorious. It's teams that win championships. If you don't have a team, you won't win a championship. I believe that should be the approach in any environment. Without that, you won't win. It's like now, if the chair can provide leadership and chair this committee, you will not end what you are supposed to do. And I think he has been chairing the committee in a manner that there is progress. I don't know which date this is, but you have been sitting and there is progress. You need a team person in any environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm passing the baton to Honorable Shongwe.
Yes. Let him run his lap.
Thank you, Chair. Do you call 10 minutes a lap, Chair?
It's less than 10, Honorable Shongwe.
How many minutes, Chair? How many? No, when you ask, they don't take your time. I need to ask.
We have 6 minutes.
Wow, okay. Now then I'll be very short. Tumela Tuna Mutusa.
Tobel.
La pila papa.
Siyaphila kunjani?
Awa, siyaphila nathi. Oh, siyakhuluma. Awa. Nekarabulela.
Kuyabulela.
Luwapha kapha.
Lena kuyapha. Nabulabula.
Quick one. I'm worried and concerned. My colleague asked you here, Hori, the fact that it's been a year and you guys don't have a delegated work clear to you to do, in fact. Doesn't it that worry you, Hori? We are wasting taxpayers' money somehow?
Look, I will be the happiest to have my responsibilities clearly defined, but I also appreciate where we are, where we come from, and we are not just sitting idle, waiting to be given responsibilities. We are working as a team. We do things. It's just unfortunate that we have, which brought us here, the crafting of a note, which if it was not done, we wouldn't be here. But generally speaking, we have been a team dealing with policing, and there have been progress registered by the team. And I think we were on the right track to dealing with criminality in the country. The way we have positioned ourselves, the way we have been able to look at the structure, the way we have been able to look at the personnel at our disposal, which can then augment the work that we do. For instance, folding the inspectorate. It's a major achievement for you to do something like that, and to also come to the determination with the structure that we have before us to say, yes, we are going to have visible policing, but at the same time we are going to have operational response team that basically goes into an area and ensure that when they leave, the area is not the same as it was before. And the approach that have been adopted now, we have what we call Operation Shaniela Phase 2, which is slightly different to the way we have been dealing with Shaniela, which we launched then under Minister Kelly. So we were on the right track, the right focus, and something came and disrupted that thinking or that flow that was unfolding. But I believe that despite this, we still are on track, because this structure that is in place, there is no way that it will be shelved and not be implemented. It has been signed off by the National Commissioner. The unions are on board. Everybody is on course, and I believe we are ready to move with the implementation of that structure. So it's not like we were sitting and not doing anything. Work has been going on. Unfortunately, we took longer than we should have. We could have done better.
All right. Let me ask this: who appoints deputy ministers?
The President of the Republic.
So, when it comes to these two deputies, you don't have clear delegated responsibilities.
No, the President has delegated the ministers to deal with this matter, and the minister was working on it. It's unfortunate that this happened before it could be finalized, but like I said, if he come back tomorrow, he reports for duty, or Thursday, this will be one of the things that he disposes of from the table.
No, but yaka ire ki phoso ya mang gore lena alina yona alina delegated responsibilities.
Ke arabile kere President o delegate le minister to deal with these matters, and the minister is working on it.
So ki phoso ya mang?
No, it's the minister who is supposed to process the delegation, because he has been delegated to do so by the President.
Whose fault is it that you don't have responsibilities? Which minister?
No, not that I don't have responsibilities, that we have not signed off the delegated authority. We have not signed off. So as soon as the minister is ready for us to do that, we will be able to process that.
All right, I rate holy answer mo karabo mo. I'm worried morena kana Donatus. Hore. Under this president, we had one acting minister, one suspended minister, one deputy minister, and another deputy minister. That's 4. And another acting minister, 5. And all of them, they are coming in the space of this financial term. Does it maybe when you maybe katsela engore no man morena president I don't know bulela mo re ja tšhelete ya batho ka tsela e wrong because re dutse mo ke no nyaka mbereko mo ke no bereka ke etsa something gore o mpone gore ke busy le nna. Because what you are saying to me, you are saying you are working, you are doing something. It's like, look busy, Jesus is coming. So to me it gives me that. Doesn't it worry your conscience, Hori? So much money has been spent on 5 positions that are not seriously helping South Africans. I'll be doing my last question after this. When the light is red, it's time for the last question. Once. Which party are you coming from, sir? Which party deployed you?
Is that part of your terms of reference?
No.
Because I want to bet. So
it is political interference. That's what I want to know. It's political, part of political interference.
Look, I am a member of the African National Congress.
And your second deputy?
She's a member of the ANC as well.
But member of ANC as well?
Absolutely.
You may answer that question. Thank you, Chair. Remember, there's a question.
But why are you appointed as deputy minister, and then you have got an acting minister? You know, the minister is on leave because we have to deal with what we are dealing with now here. That's why you are part of the ad hoc committee that is presiding to deal with these facts so that you are able to advise Parliament, for Parliament to advise on how things can be done better, different from what brought us here. And because of that, you must have somebody responsible for policing, and an acting minister has been appointed in that regard. Thank you very much, Chair.
Sorry, Chair. I think that my question was not answered. Maybe you didn't hear my question. My question speaks to your conscience. For these 5 positions are chowing in the same pot at one time. What is your perception regarding that, and how do you feel about it, Ori? There's 2 deputy ministers, there's 2 acting ministers, there's 1 suspended ministers. All of these people are still getting salaries, by the way, except for one Honorable Mantashe, if I may say. What's your take on that? What about the South Africans? What are you saying to them about that?
Look, it's not about my feelings that we are dealing with here. We are dealing with...
Can you come forward to the mic, sir, while you speak about...
I think, Chair, I don't think the question that he's raising is relevant to what we are dealing with, and I've tried to answer him. He's not satisfied with my answer. I can't answer beyond this.
So you are satisfied with the answer that you have given?
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable members,
Chair,
we will come back
Sorry,
at 4:30.
Point of order, Chair. If you say you're asking them, the honorable sitting there, Worry, is he satisfied with the answer? What is the answer? What was the answer? I didn't hear an answer, sir.
Yeah, what he says is that the answer that he has given to you, he stands by it.
Answer to which question, sir?
My understanding is that the question that you were asking was a follow-up, and that is why you were able to clarify it.
Chair, which party are you from? I feel there's a defense here, Chair. I feel that way, not disrespect intended, because the question I asked, Chair, if no mamets, if Ngarim fair answer when that he gave me, you can't give it to me unless Chair when you can just clarify to me. No, he answered this way in this question.
You asked him a question about appointment of 5. I listened very carefully.
Yes, and what was the answer, Chair?
And he responded.
Which was the answer? I didn't get the answer, Chair. That's what I'm asking.
But you asked a follow-up question. You even said to him...
No, I was clarifying the question, Chair.
No, listen to what you said. You said to him that the question I'm asking is talking to your consciousness. I heard everything. And he came back and said, the answer that I gave on that question. But look, I'm prepared to.
No, Chair, we can drop it. I understand.
No. We don't do things like that. We don't work like that. Because at the time you finish questioning, it was 18 minutes past 4, and your time has ended at 4:15. And how I want us to conduct proceedings must be in such a way that we show respect to one another as members of this committee. When your time is up, it is up, and that must be the understanding, honorable members. Because I wanted to call a break, a 15 minutes break. No, I must call a break. But before I call a break, I want us to get back to our business. And the only way of getting back to business is to do things in accordance with our agreements. When time has expired, it has expired, and unfortunately we can't reverse the clock.
Thank you.
And you know, Honorable Shong, I always want to declare how I equally want to be seen. It's not just about treating you equally, but manifestly seen, treating you equally. And I just want to request that we have that kind of cooperation which will help us to achieve the work of the committee. Thank you so much. It's now 22 minutes after 16 hours. So I'm giving you a 15 minutes break. We are going to come here.